When Republican voters say lower taxes, what they mean is lower taxes for working people. But when Republican politicians say lower taxes, what they mean is lower taxes for rich people and more taxes for working people and for poor people. That's what they mean. And that's the difference, man. Like, no, we don't want to tax you more. We don't want to tax you more. Unless you are mega wealthy already. That's it.
Sounds weird. You should really show that you're...
Nobody show this guy the tax rates in the 50s, in the 40s and 50s. No, don't show that to him. Let's go. Let's go.
So...
Oh, this is a new YouTube channel. I've never reacted to this guy before. But I'm pretty excited. I have high hopes. I have high expectations. Let's jump right into it.
And my heart are fellers that have joined the channel. Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur unfortunately have to cover the Somali daycare fraud scandal. Now, of course, they're gonna have to make it about race and make it a partisan issue while claiming other people are doing that and they're not doing it. I'm gonna be delighted.
What do you mean? That is what other people are doing, though. Like, of course this is about race. What do you mean? How can you... This argument just doesn't really, like, work anymore. And not that it ever really worked to begin with, but it's more apparent now than ever that right-wingers are making this about race. They're making... Oh, it's culture. You know, whatever. Call it whatever the fuck you want. You know, people on the right are saying that Somali people are... evil fraudsters, evil terrorist fraudsters. That's it.
In juxtaposing their coverage of Kyle Rittenhouse with their coverage of the Somali fraud scandal. It's just too ridiculous, so let's just rip the rubber off and get into it.
Now, two things are happening at the same time. On one hand, these fraud cases appear to be very serious and very real. On the other hand, the issue itself has become incredibly politicized, with the right kind of using it, the right and also, let's keep it real, Israel defenders kind of using it as a distraction to both demonize Muslims in the country, demonize immigrants in the country, while also taking some of the heat and pressure off of Israel's ongoing genocide and expansionist project in the Middle East.
Yes, at the...
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, like calling that out specifically may seem a little silly on the surface, but what she's talking about is political deflection, okay? The government will, by the government, I mean, this administration is not above, like, creating narratives in the media to distract from something that a lot of people care about, okay? So, like, a lot of people are talking about Israel right now, and it's really frustrating the establishment, the Republican establishment that is in power right now. So what they did is they took this issue, which has been going on for well over 2 years now, that they never brought up during the election cycle, even though it was equally as relevant back then. You know, now suddenly it's a big deal, and the media is like running wild with it because we're just finding out about this. Well, we're not just finding out about this. People have been getting arrested for this for multiple years at this point, okay? This is the reality of the matter. That's it.
Forefront of the Somali fraud scandal has to be racism and Israel, Anna. Okay. The cope is already here. Anna Kasparian is the kind of woman that would have a dream about you cheating on her and she wakes up and throws something at you, okay?
However, regardless of the bad faith actors who might be using this for terrible political purposes, the fact remains that it appears that close to $9 billion, according to prosecutors, have been stolen from taxpayers in the Minneapolis area as a result of these fraudulent businesses.
Remember when we were told that these aren't economic migrants, these are refugees, okay? So it does make it a little more egregious that these people seeking refuge managed to snake out hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, which we're just going to assume didn't go back overseas toward any nefarious activities at all whatsoever. This is just like any other American fraud, right?
On November 29th, the New York Times reported on how federal charges had been filed against dozens of people.
It's not just like any other American fraud. That's not the point. The point is that this is an ongoing investigation that has been active, that we know of, for many years. They have made multiple arrests this year, last year, the year before that. They've been arresting people for that. People have been tried and convicted. They're sitting in prison right now. And now suddenly it's like this is all over the media. Somalians are doing this. They are doing this. Like we are talking about a few people from a Minnesota community that took advantage and stole from the welfare system, stole food out of children's mouths. And you guys are trying to say that this is some kind of pervasive issue in the Somali community, and it's not. And and furthermore, it's a problem that's being dealt with.
Felonies, in fact, related to stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from a government program meant to keep children fed during the COVID pandemic. Over the last 5 years, law enforcement officials say fraud took root in pockets of Minnesota Somali diaspora, as scores of individuals made small fortunes by setting up companies that billed state agencies for millions of dollars worth of social services that were never provided. Again, just want to reemphasize, this is money that is stolen from taxpayers that was meant to help needy families,
True.
hungry children.
Surely with this egregious and rampant monetary fraud in our government, you can understand why people don't want to pay more in taxes, right? We would want some transparency before paying more in taxes. So already we shouldn't really trust you guys, so we should give you more money. Sounds...
No. This isn't what leftists advocate for. We don't want more taxes on ordinary people. We want more taxes on rich people. When Republican voters say lower taxes, what they mean is lower taxes for working people. But when Republican politicians say lower taxes, what they mean is lower taxes for rich people and more taxes for working people and for poor people. That's what they mean. And that's the difference, man. Like, no, we don't want to tax you more. We don't want to tax you more. Unless you are mega wealthy already. That's it.
Sounds weird. You should really show that you're...
Nobody showed this guy the tax rates in the 50s, in the 40s and 50s. No, don't show that to him.
We're taking our money, using it appropriately, and having checks and balances. But let's see where this goes.
Federal prosecutors say that 59 people have been convicted in those schemes so far, and that more than $1 billion in taxpayer money has been stolen in 3 plots they are investigating. So there are other examples. I'll give you one other one. So they focused on a nonprofit called Feeding Our Future, which became a partner to dozens of local businesses that were enrolled as feeding sites meant to feed children during the COVID pandemic. And then in addition to that, hundreds of providers were reimbursed for assistance they claim to have provided to homeless people. I know a lot about this in California, that federal authorities say were never even provided.
So they're going to be covering the billions in fraud so far in Minnesota and California. Just those 2 states alone, let alone all the other states. Let's make this a nonpartisan issue, right? Handle this responsibly like they handled Kyle Rittenhouse. Oh, it's coming up soon.
But unfortunately, it has quickly devolved into a politicized, race issue. And I think the way that the right has talked about this story is to blame for that. Because if you immediately politicize it and make it about race, every action is going to have an equal reaction. And then the story devolves into race politics or culture war nonsense, when at the heart of this issue is that we have states that are running these programs so poorly, with so little oversight, that literally billions in taxpayer money that's meant to help the needy gets stolen.
Let's test the bounds of their journalistic integrity during the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, shall we? The judge didn't want the people that Kyle Rittenhouse shot in self-defense to be positioned as victims, but they could be considered rioters or arsonists, since there's footage of that happening there.
Okay, what does this have to do with welfare? Kyle Rittenhouse? What? So? Like, why are you even he got off. He got out of it. He didn't, nothing happened to him, I don't think. Did he get any time for killing those people, for murdering them? For those of you that don't know, somehow Kyle Rittenhouse, a few years ago, planned a murder. Okay, he planned it, and then he went and carried out that murder. But he was able to claim it was self-defense and successfully, was able to get out of any responsibility. So, yeah, anyway.
He believes that the word victims, even though the individuals who are now dead died as a result of someone opening fire and killing them, calling them victims is
prejudicial.
Yes, exactly.
But it's not just that. He called it literally. Calling them a victim is a loaded term. Okay, but wait. So calling the victims.
Come on, man, bring it home.
And
what does Kyle Rittenhouse have to do with this?
Victims, the actual term is loaded, but calling them rioters, when you haven't even presented any evidence that they were rioters, is not loaded. Calling them arsonists, and there's not a shred of evidence that they started any fires, is not loaded.
This is the level of objective journalism we're dealing with here, okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Artie, what is Cenk think about the Somali fraud case and how can you position it in a non-partisan way? Being reasonable, they're the reasonable progressives, okay? You don't have to be right-wing. You can be like on the left, right? But like toward the center. Reasonable left, okay? We cover that in this channel. Let's listen to them, be completely reasonable.
So there are three potential issues here. I think two of them are nonsense, and one of them is super important and totally ignored. One is immigration. Oh, the immigrants did it. The other is, oh, they're Somali/Muslims. Ooh, the Muslims did it. Okay, and then the third is fraud.
Yeah, Chunk, the crime of defrauding the government for billions of dollars is worse if it's done by immigrants. Do you know how difficult that is to do in a non-Western country? Do you think I could do that in India? Do you think I could do that in China? Why is it that in white Western countries, it's just so easy for immigrants to infiltrate the government and steal billions of dollars, and God knows what they did with the money? I'm sure it wasn't for nefarious purposes at all. I'm sure all that money stayed in the country. The Somalis are a very insular group. They have a high in-group preference. Also, how is it so easy to steal billions of dollars speaking English as your second, third, or fourth language? They couldn't even spell the sign correctly on their daycare center. The collective IQ of their country is long sleeve weather. Mind you, this is a repeated offense within this community. Why, I seem to remember white people being blamed for many things as a community, including trying to have their own white community. But when it comes to the Muslims and the Somalis, well, they're just like any other American. I know they're defrauding the country for billions of dollars, but can we cool it with the racist and Islamophobic remarks?
So, as I'm going to show you here, is it just...
Who is stopping you from being in a white community? White communities exist. You can move there. Nobody's trying to stop that from happening. Me personally, I think it's stupid. I think that like finding camaraderie with other white people on the basis of being white is silly. Okay, because whiteness doesn't really make us that similar. You know, like me personally, I'm a Southerner. Okay, Yankees, they're cool people. I get along with them. You know, it's fine. But like, we're not really similar. You know, but we are both white. Okay, like, you know, Northerners are generally white, right? Not like 100% of them. Okay, you know, Southerners are also generally white, not 100%, but generally. So we're similar in that, but like, I don't really feel like that unifies us or anything. I don't see any, and I, you know, that's more of like a macro scale. Okay, like big picture, you know, the southern, the south, the north. Okay, but this is true on the smaller scale too. Like, I don't feel a part of the community, my local community, because I'm white. Okay, that's not why. So that's it.
Just the Somalis or just immigrants? Absolutely not. So I don't think those are the two main issues at all, except for how they relate to political correctness, which I'll get to as a larger topic in a second. So the fraud is the real issue. Now, we know there's fraud here. There's already been arrests, convictions, etc. What I don't know is the depth of the fraud, because, look, guys, the guy who did the YouTube videos, he actually started doing them months ago, to give him credit on that, right? So it's not like he's just jumped on it now, so I don't want you to be mistaken about that. Now, having said that, it became supernova viral just a couple of days ago, right? But well before that, we already had 86 arrests, 59 convictions. So they had to do a long process of investigation, arrest, trial, and then conviction. In fact, 5 new cases were launched, as Anna just told you, earlier this month, before any of this went viral. So
this isn't why the video sucks. Okay, this is like part of the reason, but it's like a smaller part. Okay, the reason the video sucks is because it's framed as this impartial investigative journalism, when it's not. It's not investigative journalism, and it's certainly not impartial. Okay, it is overtly racist propaganda, and there's no investigating happening in the video. It's just a guy driving to places where children are and demanding to see the children, which is, again, I said this yesterday, a very strange thing to do.
And the question is
weird.
Is this just hype up stuff about things that already happened, but we get to go Somali, Muslim, and immigrant, right? Or is there more to it?
Oh, well, Cenk, seems kind of like you're minimizing it. He's like, hey, there's already dozens of arrests and convictions. Yeah, isn't that concerning? Isn't that... What number would make you raise an eyebrow, Chunk? What number would you be like, wow, this is a widespread problem? This is just within the Somali community, by the way. What's the per capita on this, in that area? Guys, there's already arrests, there's already convictions. I mean, let's slow down, okay? No, let's speed up. Let's try and get as many as possible, dude. What are you talking about? This is such a dumb comment that Anna can't help herself and has to interject.
Yeah, I think that anybody that committed these crimes, they should be found. Okay, I don't think that Nick Shirley's stupid fucking video where he like tries to harass children for no good reason is helping do that. Okay, it's not helping at all. In fact, actually, it's just fueling outrage. It's profiting off of the newly constructed outrage. Okay, manufactured outrage. It's manufactured because this has been going on for multiple years, and it has only now started to appear in the media. Okay, like this is a thing that has been happening, that has been reported on for many years at this point. At least that I know of, at least since 2023. And yet, for some reason, mysteriously, the mainstream media, the lamestream media, has suddenly just decided to start reporting on it out of nowhere. Gotcha.
Now,
Gotcha.
so that's the first part of the story.
I gotta jump in on that because there's a lot of nuance there, and people are gonna get upset at me literally just telling the truth, because what's happening in Minnesota is very similar to what's been happening in California, right? So the argument you're making, Cenk, is what's the big deal? I mean, the federal prosecutors are looking into it. They've been investigating it. It's not like no one's looked into it, right? Is that what you're saying? Okay, what are you saying then?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying let's make up numbers here. Let's say it's a $100 million scandal.
Yeah,
and
he's right. That isn't what he said. Okay, and like Ana Kasparian, I like Ana Kasparian. Okay, she's epic. She's girl boss. Whatever. What the fuck ever. But anyway, Cenk did not say that. Okay, what he said is that these investigations are happening. Okay, and he left it at that. That doesn't mean that like, it is fine. Like, let's just, nobody look any further into this. Like, no, that's straw man. You're straw manning if you think that, or if you say that. Okay, and you're distracting from what's actually at issue here, which is that Somali people are being smeared as savage fraudsters when this was a group of people that were separate from the dude, Somali people were not all collaborating. They weren't all in on this. Okay, this is a thing that a small sect of their community did, and it's wrong. They should be punished. They should be punished to the full extent of the law. Jail. Throw them in jail.
And they already prosecuted
That's
$50 million worth of fraud. I'm saying go get the other $50 million. But guys, don't panic. This is a normal fraud thing that happens in all the states, which is what I was about to get to, which you're about to get to, etc. But by the way, we should be super vigilant about all of that.
That's also true. This kind of fraud has happened in other states before. I don't think it's like routine or anything. I don't think it happens in like every state. Okay, certainly like smaller cases of fraud happen in every state, but like on this scale, I don't think this happens very often. Okay, but it's happened before. But for some reason, other cases of fraud didn't go mega viral like this, and I wonder why that is. Maybe it has something to do with the perpetrators being Somalians from Somalia.
Not going forward. So I'm not saying it's not a big deal at all. But if it's a $100 million problem, that's a relatively normal, right?
They're
if it's
evil.
a $9 billion problem, that's
They
not
are.
normal. And that means they missed the great majority of the fraud. And then I'm more concerned, and I'm also concerned about that in every state.
I'm sorry, this is news to me. $100 million in fraud is relatively normal. That's normal. And you want us to feel comfortable paying taxes when you think that fraud is normal? And of course it doesn't matter.
No, you shouldn't be happy about this. Like, you shouldn't be happy about paying. Look, I don't like paying taxes either. I know what my taxes go to, bro. I know as well. Okay, I don't like where our taxes are going. Our taxes are going to war overseas. They're going to genocide, and yeah, there's also fraud happening on the in healthcare and all sorts of things. Okay. This is just one case of it. There are cases of like this all over the country. And when it comes to healthcare, it's worth noting that this type of fraud, including in this case as well, happens on the side of the providers, not the claimants. Okay, that means that it's the companies committing this fraud, not individuals on Medicare. Okay, so when they inevitably talk about cutting the modicum of healthcare that is awarded to average Americans, when they talk about revoking that, it's not justified. It's not justified at all. There's no fraud happening on the side of consumers. It's just not happening.
Who's committing the fraud, right? We remove the identity completely when it comes
But
to
that's what they'll
stealing
use
money
this
from the
to
government
do.
and discovering their motivations and where the money even goes after that. That's incredible. I take it back. That's fucking crazy. I've never heard that opinion in my entire life. Chunk is like, 100 million, I'm not going to bat an eye at that. But 9 billion sounds a little high. Well, Ana Kasparian is going to bring up California. Are we noticing like some Democrat influence here? I know that we can't single out any sort of identifier whatsoever, any commonalities in these billions of dollars of fraud from the government. But Anna Kasparian is going to be like, Cenk, you think 9 billion's a lot. Let me tell you about 24 billion for the homeless in California.
So let me give you some context so you can kind of understand how a number as massive as $9 billion could be credible. So if you look at the state of California, which I've done a lot of research and investigative reporting on, literal published investigative reporting that's gone through laborious editing processes and everything. Basically, during the COVID pandemic, if you guys can all remember, there was a massive influx of federal aid given to the states. And for good reason, right? People lost their jobs out of no fault of their own. Government shutdowns happened. And there was a lot of fear that people were basically going to find themselves in unbearable poverty, unable to feed their children as a result of not being able to work. Now, unfortunately, that money and the influx of money being sent to states also led to an influx of these fraudulent nonprofits and businesses popping up. And so in the state of California, Gavin Newsom saw COVID as an ideal opportunity.
Never let a crisis go to waste.
To do something to provide permanent supportive housing for the homeless population. So suddenly you see all of these nonprofits and these homeless service providers pop up. And it turns out that in 5 years, 24, and this is according to a state audit. I'm not making this up. You guys can look into it yourselves if you don't believe me. A state audit indicated that $24 billion, billion with a B, in homeless aid in the state of California is unaccounted for.
You know, they love to say Elon Musk could solve world hunger with the amount of money that he has. Okay, what about 24 billion in California? What did that do? Completely unaccounted for, okay? These people have no track record of handling your money in a responsible manner, and they demand more of it. We need to give them zero money until they show proof of concept, you know, like a private business, okay? Because the government's just gonna take it, have it not be accounted for, and ask for more. Where did that money go? What could we have done with $24 billion? We'll never know. By the way, we're at $33 billion in this very short amount of time with me.
Yeah, man. We gotta cut taxes because the taxes aren't going to the right things. Genius. Let's not change where the tax money goes. Let's just cut off the faucet. Let's just destroy all of the social welfare, the social safety nets that we've delicately built over the last 80 years. Let's do that. Yeah, genius. Private enterprise will fix all of this.
You listening to them talk, okay? God knows how many hundreds of billions of dollars have been defrauded
ever.
And so, did our state prosecutors do something about it? Well, you know, the state attorney general, Bonta, did do one civil lawsuit. Woo, thanks for the civil lawsuit. But it had to be the Trump administration's federal prosecutors to actually do a criminal investigation.
Well, shit in my coffee and serve it to me cold. Can you believe this guy that was born in the Philippines, managing to get quite a prestigious position in the United States government, dragged his feet when it came to investigating all of this fraud, and that Trump's federal administration had to come in to actually investigate it? Can you believe it?
And through the criminal investigation, they've already found not one, but 2 developers who did wire fraud, all sorts of crazy, fraudulent nonsense in order to siphon off hundreds of millions of dollars from, Newsom's signature homeless housing program that was funded partially through the COVID money that was given to the state of California. So the point that I'm trying to make is, yeah, the federal prosecutors are looking into it now, but the states where the fraud took place really just wanted to either ignore it or they were super soft on the, alleged fraudsters. And that's why people are frustrated and angry.
Perfectly put, Anna. Excellent. Now, it was expressed in a very centrist way, but that's fine. That's fine. Now just close your fuckhole and move on to the next topic. Don't talk about this topic anymore. You did perfect. Journalistically, kind of brave since you're talking to the left right now, but you stood on your principles. That's appreciated. Stop talking.
And yes, I get that in the case of Minnesota, they're trying to make this about race, which is disgusting.
And there she goes, opening that mouth of hers again. This is why she goes to bed without dinner and has a lump in her head in the morning. Making it about race is disgusting. Let's see their Kyle Rittenhouse coverage, in which Kyle Rittenhouse was white and only shot white people.
This is so preposterous, so biased, that it would be shocking if it wasn't a deeply racist right-winger.
Oh, buckle up, fellers.
Black Lives Matter protests, aren't they all arsonists and rioters and looters? No matter what the race of the people who were killed were. He went to go shoot black people. They're not victims.
You see, that's not disgusting because you can't be racist toward white people. Very simple arithmetic.
Victims? No.
But no, it's not racist because, okay, first of all, yeah, white racism isn't really real. Okay, not for real. Not really. Okay, you guys can fucking bitch and cry and try to make it real as much as you want. I'm not buying it. Okay, but anyway. Beside that, what he just said is entirely accurate. Kyle Rittenhouse planned a murder, and then he went and did that murder, and he faced no repercussions for it. That's what happened. If you want to deny that, you're stupid. That's it.
Oh, no. If you murder them, you know what happens? The right wing gives you millions of dollars. That's literal. Kyle Rittenhouse murdered these people, and the right wing started like a GoFundMe page or whatever and raised millions for him. They're like, oh, you went to go kill black people, and then at that Black Lives Matter protest, you murdered a couple of people. Bravo! Way to go, murderer! Wait, guys, what are we gonna do with the right wing?
Great point, Chunk. What are we gonna do with these people that you're lying about and fostering animosity toward based upon your lie? Can we do that? We can't even do it with the truth.
On the one hand, I want to reach out to them.
But that is what happened, okay? Like, I know it's not nice, okay? It's mean. But, like, at the same time, he also murdered those people. So, yeah, I think it's fine to be kind of mean about it. The fuck?
Earlier in the show, hey, we hate corruption, you hate corruption, let's work together against corrupt politicians, right? On the other hand, when you have some portion of them, not all of them, but some portion of them, that say, oh, that guy went to go kill black people, and then he actually did kill a couple of protesters, I love that guy.
Do we really think that's a fair characterization of history? He's not done.
I love that guy, I want to give him my hard-earned money. So if he gets out of jail, maybe he can murder more
Yeah, I
people
do.
on behalf of the right wing.
Listen,
How am I
of
supposed to
course
get along
it's
with that
fair.
guy? How am I supposed to get along with that guy?
The right wing is going to do
That's
what the right
just
wing
what
does.
happened.
Which in this context would be perceived as violently headhunting black people. Interesting. But let's not judge them too harshly. Jake is going to save face right now, okay? He's going to give you an out. He doesn't want to hate you. He hates you. Oh, he fucking hates you. But he doesn't want to hate you. He wants to extend an olive branch and give you an alternate reality, an alternate universe in which he would be understanding of the situation. You're not going to believe this.
But this ruling is monstrous. It's monstrous. And guys, no progressive wants injustice. We don't want injustice toward the right wing either. We're fighting for justice. So
Yeah, white people famously never hunt black people. What is a lynching? What is that? I've never heard of
So
that.
if you're on the jury,
I don't know what
and it
that
turns out one of the
is.
guys pointed, that Kyle Rittenhouse had not done anything, didn't start anything, and one of the guys in the crowd pointed a gun at his head, and then he turned around and actually defended himself. Then you should let him go. Then he's not guilty. That is actually self-defense, if that's what the evidence shows. So far, we have public evidence. It is not what it shows. It is not at all what it shows. But if you have magic evidence that we haven't seen is possible, show it to the jury, then we would be for just. I don't want to put away somebody who's innocent. Why the hell would I want to do that?
How is this possible, you fat brown buffalo? How do you describe what you think is a hypothetical situation that literally happened with Gage Grosskreutz holding a gun to the skull of Kyle Rittenhouse, maybe a foot away from his head, and he admitted that he did this under oath? You didn't even have to wait for the trial. You could have just seen the video. I knew this an hour after the event happened. I almost watched it live and already knew everything I had to know about it and had to watch these lives for a year. These are the people that are covering the Somali fraud case, and they have a very different energy. Like, hey, man, come on. $100 million? That's normal. Call that fucking Tuesday, man. Relax. Why you gotta make it about race?
Again, I don't know why Kyle Rittenhouse has nothing to do with Somalians in Minnesota, and this isn't like a contradiction. Okay, Kyle Rittenhouse planned to murder these people, and then he went to the place and he murdered them. That's what happened. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it.
writes in on Twitch. You may want to do some looking into actual videos in which they actually went to the daycare before it was actually open. The hours on the door listed are 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. This is all an effort to discredit Tim Walz as Mike Pillow's running against him and being bankrolled by Trump. Guys,
Okay,
so
great.
hold on. So first of all, you might have seen one or two things as separate videos, but be careful about all the videos. Is there really a child care program being run from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m.? Less likely, okay? So the sign on one of the videos, one of the centers there, and you saw it in the first video, is a learning center, but learning is misspelled. Now, that's both funny, but also emblematic.
Kyle Rittenhouse defends himself.
Murderer!
Room temp Somalis that can't even spell that are now millionaires.
Now, that's both funny, but also emblematic.
Not only have we printed money at an alarming rate and sent it overseas, but then immigrant morons are able to get billions of dollars of it. How much of our money do we actually use in the country? Oh, that's funny and emblematic. Well, I find that shallow and pedantic.
Because that goes to show you, not only does no one there care about learning, but no one from the state went, guys, oh, this is embarrassing, guys. We're giving you millions of...
It's not downplaying to just describe accurately what is happening. Okay, here's what's happening. There's an investigation happening, people are being put in jail, and at the same time, even though this has been happening for multiple years, there is this racist smear campaign against Somalians in Minnesota that is happening, and it's mainstream. That's it. Okay, now with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, here are the facts about that. Okay, Kyle Rittenhouse murdered multiple black people because he's a racist piece of shit. That's a fact. Okay, that's what fucking happened. If you want to debate about that, then and discuss the meticulous details of the case, I would be happy to. I'd be happy to go over that with you. Okay? Rhetorically defective.
$1,000 in for education of kids, and you misspelled learning on your outward-facing public sign. Let's go fix that. That means no one's home. No one's paying any attention. And that goes to the core of this. So do I know that they're targeting Tim Walz? Yes. Do I know that it's because they were attacking Somalis even before this video came out, and this turned out to be a perfect little talking point for some of those folks? Yes, I know that, right? But having said that, now let me back up what Anna's saying. Look, guys, and for the right wing, I'll use more blue states here. I guarantee you it's the same in the red states.
The pinnacle of journalistic integrity. He has an entire news team, but they keep finding these examples in Democrat-run Minnesota and among our largest economies in California and New York. But I'm totally sure it's the same in red states, right? Where does the TYT budget go? To make Anna's body still bangable and to make Chunks chunt below his chin fit and frame? So let's end it here. This is why you have to come to the conclusion that racism doesn't exist. It has no universal application. This is a feature, not a bug. There is no crime egregious enough on the left that they will treat with the appropriate severity and outrage, and there is no minuscule verbal offense of racism on the right that they won't turn into a national news story to ruin the life of you and your family. And I know what you're thinking.
How am I supposed to get along with that guy?
You can't. He'll put a knife in your back, and when you go, hey, why'd you put a knife in my back? He'll go, that's not a knife, it's a blade, as he severs your spinal cord. The mocking will continue until morale improves. Have a good one.
Yeah, this guy's going on the rotation. thank you very much to my viewer slash commenter who submitted this. He is going crazy right now in my DMs. Holy shit. Like I said, there was that Gus thing. Me when I explain the same thing over and over again to a person in the same conversation and they are still like asking questions about it, even though I already answered the question that they are asking currently and actively.